This is terrible. Like, it's dragging the ground. Hello, and what is going on, guys? Tomcat here, and in today's Off-Road Outlaws video, we are going to be taking this Suburban that we built in a recent video, and we are going to be changing the setup a little bit. Meaning, we're going to, this thing is going to be, like, as close to Stance Nation as we can get it. I don't know how that's going to turn out, but I figure why not give it a try and see what happens. So we're going to have to first change the front suspension to an independent. Oh my god, that looks so funky. That does not look right. Wow, that does not look right. Okay, install the independent suspension in the front, and in the rear, we can do Solid Axle Pro, Trophy, Solid. We may stick with Solid Pro in the rear, just because, let's see, let's upgrade the front to max, and then the rear is already upgraded, so let's bring the axis width, not all the way in, but in enough, and then let's go back to the front. Before we do any of this, we're going to have to put the wheels and tires, mainly, back to, like, a reasonable-ish size. Let's go back to a 1 and a 1. Okay. So that'll be a good starting point. Now, if we go to the back as well, we'll go to a 1 and a 1. So now we have a good basis from which to start, I think. So we'll go back to the tuning now for the suspension. We will make, we'll make the front all-wheel drive. It doesn't have to be, like, visually, but I think we can still do it. It's not really a big deal. And let's see. Widen it a little. Not a ton, but a little. God. Oh, God. The thing's going to be scraping. I mean, you already know it's going to be scraping. Is that just about level? Pretty much. That's as low as it'll go. I mean, which is funny because it doesn't look slammed at all. Like, it just looks weird. It doesn't look, it's funny. You look at it and it kind of looks like a stock height Suburban in a way. Let's see, the axis width in the rear is going to need to come in a little bit. Just to kind of line up with the front, it's going to have to kind of come in. Just because the Solid Axle Pro runs wide in comparison to everything else. Now, before we do anything else, I just kind of want to get the visuals of this thing right, or at least somewhat close to right. So, what happens if we bump up the wheel size? I mean, it just literally doesn't really do anything except... It doesn't really do anything except make the wheel bigger. It doesn't really kind of manipulate anything else with the tune. And I wonder if... Now, if we go and swap the fenders, would it look any better? Like, would it look any different? Would it look any better? I do want to kind of take the cage off. I want to go back to, like, not quite factory, but close. Let's see. Cage. We'll do... We'll do, like, none, and then fenders. Where's, like, factory, though? Because those are cutouts. Those are not factory. That's probably factory. Like, to be honest, that's probably factory. So, roof lighting, snorkel, we'll take that off. Horns, spare wheel holder, we'll take that off. And the hood stacks, I think they're gonna have to go. The jack, the winch, I mean, we are kind of restarting with this thing, so I'm okay with, like, removing the winch. Remove that. The repair pack can stay because you don't really even see it anyway. And the front bumper, I mean, all the other ones kind of look goofy. Like, that's the only one that doesn't look super goofy, and it still doesn't lend itself to, like, this thing being low. But, like, the weird thing is, so I wanted this thing to be low, and this is about as close as we're going to get to that. The only way to make it look lower, and this is the weird part, is the only way to make it look lower is to make the tires bigger, which doesn't really make any sense because, see, now it tucks the fenders, but it looks bad. It looks really bad. If we do that, it just looks silly. So, God, that might be as low as we can go with it. And I think in order to, I mean, we'll make it a little wider. Why did I go back into that? We'll make it a little bit wider, and I think that the big thing here is going to be to just make it a touch wide, just to match where the fenders are. That's a little bit wider. So that's a 0.3. And in the rear is weird because that widens a lot quicker than the front. So right about there, I'd say is going to be pretty accurate. Now, wheels-wise, I think I want to change the actual wheels that we're running. And to do that, let's see what they have as far as, like, those don't look terrible. They don't look amazing, though. Those, if we were going to run those, they'd have to be smaller to look right. And, you know, I may stick with the ones that are on it. Yeah, I may... Apply, please. Thank you. Oh, wait. Oh, I forgot to change the color. Because the color... See, that looks kind of wrong. The color is a big determining factor here, and it's kind of like... It's kind of one of those things that... I mean, that'll work. It just has to be something that pops, you know what I mean? It has to be something that, like... That... I wouldn't say... is like super out there, but like a lot of the darker colors in this game don't really show up all that well. But that, I mean, it could work. I'm just very curious as to how it drives. I'm super curious because I've never built anything that's like this before. Oh, I forgot that it's still diesel. It's not slow, and it doesn't handle all that bad. See how it is off some jumps? You know, it's not terrible. You know, it's actually really good at what it does because it doesn't have a ton of, like, it's not being held back. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have super huge tires holding it back. And it's got so much power that it can kind of just do whatever it wants. And it actually ends up being... It ends up feeling like more of a realistic setup because, I mean, you think about it, you know, a mildly modified Suburban would look kind of like this. And when you think about it, like, there's so much, you lose so much advantage when you put massive tires on a vehicle. I mean, you get a couple of advantages from it. You get ground clearance and you get, you know, a massive contact patch with the ground. Whereas with these smaller tires, though, you're not having to deal with anything that's like, put it this way, you're not having to force the vehicle to push these massive tires around, and therefore it kind of frees up some breathing room for it, and it can actually take a lot, like, it can take advantage of that pretty damn well. Now, if I put this thing in the mud, I wonder what will happen if I put it in the mud, because sometimes certain vehicles, the way they're set up, don't respond well to the mud, but this seems to be fine. What? We're driving on top of the mud. I put this thing in here specifically to test out its capabilities in terms of, like, getting through the mud, because I thought it would sink. But no, it doesn't want to even sink at all. It actually ends up being really good at climbing hills because of the way, like, because of how small the tires are. I really like that. I really like how easy it is to just drive it around. Oh, not quite. Didn't quite have it for that. I think it was more of the, like, the biggest thing that I think, anyway, to come out of this build. I wouldn't even call it a build. I would call it an adjustment to, like, an already existing truck. I mean, we didn't really change too much, but, like, see, this is where bigger tires would be a huge addition. But I mean, bigger tires don't really let you go all that fast. So, like, if you want to go fast and have the ability to go off-road, like, this thing is actually really surprisingly good. I like it. And even though it didn't turn out quite slammed, it turned out realistic. And I think that's better than it being slammed. I mean, I'm kind of disappointed that I didn't get to, like, slam it and make it just silly. But at the same time, I'm not, well, you know what? You know what? There's a way. It's going to ruin the performance, but there is a way. And, oh, this is going to be bad. Boom. Just, like, all the way down. Make everything, like, stupid soft. Stiffness in the back. Really? That's it? Oh. Well, we're going to have to mess with the rear then. The front just falls into place, just like, Alright, we need to change the suspension. Because I'm not sure which rear is going to let us go, like, stupid low. Let's try a normal solid axle. God, it looks stupid right now. Like, it looks really bad. Alright, rear. Max that out. And then axis width. It's going to be like a 0.3 just to match the front, or to try to match the front. And then dampening down. Oh, you can change the leaf spring mount height. That's cool. Let's see. Shock size. Spring brackets. Stiffness. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Move the leaf springs back up because they're going to be inverted now. Okay. Now it's slammed. Now it's slammed. And you're going to see what happens when you slam something in Off-Road Outlaws. It's gonna be terrible. I'm already gonna tell you guys it's gonna be terrible, and because I know it's gonna be terrible. I've never tried it, but like, oh my god, it didn't bounce at all. Like, it has literally no movement in the suspension. This is terrible. Like, it's dragging the ground. It's literally dragging the ground. I bet you it gets stuck. Bet you it absolutely destroys itself when it gets stuck. God, it just slowly creeps through the mud. It's like, why? Why? I don't understand. I don't understand why you would do this. I don't understand why you would ever do this. But I guess at the end of the day, if you want to do it, the option's there. But man, like, it can't go fast because it's like the front, basically the front, like, suspension assembly is dragging on the ground. And there's so much, I don't know if that's like the suspension dragging or if that's rub or what that is, but it's just so bad that, like, I mean, should you do this? No. No, you shouldn't do this. I mean, is it hilarious? Maybe. But, I mean, it's hilarious for like a couple seconds. At least to me, it's like hilarious for a couple seconds, and then you're like, I'm done. You know, you're like, I'm done, and I want my actual functioning vehicle back. So, if you guys enjoyed this video in Off-Road Outlaws, don't forget to click that like button. Tell me in the comments below what you guys thought of it. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe for more. I'll see you guys next time. Talk to y'all later.